Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and show you how to set up for the first time this brand new Roborock Qrevo Edge. This is the model number S5A. So I'll show you how to put it together. We'll put the water tanks in. Then I'm going to connect it to my smartphone, my iPhone, and then we're going to map our house and I'm going to go through all the settings. I did buy this with my own money. Right now it's retailing for $900. My very next video will be a first look. We're going to see how it cleans. Then I'll do a detailed review, give it a score. Then I'll compare it to the brand new Qrevo over there and the Saros and the Dream robots. So let's get started. Okay, here's everything that comes in the box. We get a power cord, an extra dust bag, 2 mops. We're going to install them in the robot. Here's the base station. We do have to attach this ramp. So push it down till it's nice and flush. It should be nice and flush. And you're going to be installing this up against the wall by an outlet. Here we have a clean water tank. And here we have a dirty water tank. So the base station is going to fill the robot up with water. Then it's also going to wash the mop pads. Now around back, you're going to plug the power cord in. It is 6 feet long. It is 3-prong. The voltages are 120 volts, 60 hertz, 6 amps when it's dust collecting, 12 amps when it's heating the water, and 1 amp when it's just charging and drying. There's a little bit of cord storage, but it won't hold much of this thick cord. Okay, let's take a look at the dock. This is where it's going to auto empty the dust bin. There's another vacuum's going to kick on the base station. Here's where the hot water comes down. The robot will spin the mop pads on these bars right here and clean them with hot water. Then this tube in the back is going to suck up the water into the dirty water tank. At the end, it's going to blow hot air onto the mop pads to dry them. Now it does this very easy to come out. This little tray, you will have to clean this once in a while, but there are these self-cleaning rollers that have these little wipers on them. They're driven by these motors right here. So it is going to, as it's washing the mops, it's also cleaning the base station. That's a really nice feature. But once in a while, you do have to take this over to the sink and clean it. It's very simple to put back in. That tube's going to go right where it needs to. Here's where it charges the robot. Here's where it's going to fill the robot up with water. Front to back, you need about 19 inches. Left to right, 13.5. Now, the unit's not very tall, but you do have to lift the tanks up approximately 28 inches. You're going to need to clear above it. It's only about 20 inches tall. Yeah, it's going to need about 28 inches to lift the tanks up. Now, there is no solution, automatic solution addition, so you've got to pour a little bit of Roborock solution in here every time you fill the clean water tank up. There's a device down there that it's going to help with hard water deposits, and there is a filter in that little blue device that you have to clean once in a while. Dirty water tank just has a little float to let the base station know when it's full. Okay, so back here is the dust bag. So every 2 or 3 months, you're gonna have to replace this dust bag. This is gonna suck everything out of the robot. It's very easy. You just pull this little lever, or pull this whole bag out and slide the new one in that track. All right, let's measure how tall. I love that the robot has LiDAR, spinning LiDAR on the top. It's 3 7/8 inches tall. Let's check how wide it is. It's right at 3.5 inches wide. Okay, let's take a look at the robot again. It has spinning LiDAR. There's a spinning LiDAR underneath this cover. That does a really good job of mapping your house. There's a power button and a home button. Up here we have a sensor. There is no camera on this robot, so it's not going to take pictures or video. There's no remote access. But it has reactive obstacle avoidance. That's what this sensor is. So once in a while, you will have to clean that. It does have a flexible side brush. It's going to extend in the corner. And here's another sensor on this side. It knows when it's up against the wall, so it can extend that side brush and the mop pad. Now around back, this is where it's going to fill the robot up with water, charge it, a sensor to help it back up. And then this is where it auto empties through right here. Let's lift this off. Here's the dust bin. Now the robot's going to go around, vacuum your house. Everything's going to go into this dust bin. Once in a while, you are going to have to clean this filter about every 2 weeks. And then you can wash this dust bin also, and then just put it back. Okay, so here's the mop pads. We're going to have to install these. You will have to replace these once in a while, and you can also put these in your laundry. But the base station is going to wash these with hot water and dry them at the end of the job. Now the theory is these mop pads are going to have to capture the dirt, take it back to the base station and get washed off. Now this one, it does extend it off to the side and it can mop right up next to the wall. That's a really nice feature. These are easy to install. Now it can lift the mop pads up and down depending on if it senses carpet, because it has a carpet sensor right here. So there it can sense carpet and it tells the robot when to lift the mop pads up. It can lift them up and down 0.39 inches or 10 millimeters. And the internal water tank is going to spray water out these little holes right here to keep the mop pads wet. I do think it's important to keep the mop pads wet while it's mopping, and you can adjust this up to 30 water flow levels. So from 1 to 30, that's a really nice feature. We have the split dual brush roller. It's got a split in the middle. That's going to help with long hairs. So as a long hair gets wrapped around this, it's going to be directed towards the middle, and then it gets sucked in. It's not going to wrap around the brush roller. This actually does a pretty good job. Let's put them back in, and then we get this one on this side. Again, split. Here's the door. Put this in and snap it into place. We have a wheel here that spins free. There is a little brush here to help keep hairs off of it. These are the fall off sensors, so it doesn't fall down your stair. You will have to clean these once in a while. There's that side brush. It comes already installed. Here's the drive wheels. Okay, let's fill the water up, the clean water tank up with water. Again, you have to add you don't have to add solution, but they do recommend the Roborock solution. And I just do 2 dabs. It says to add 2 capfuls. Now, that takes care of the clean water tank. Now, I am doing some future testing to see if we can add other cleaners. Check out my future videos. Now, you're going to need to invest in some spray Dawn wash, a brush, and this Listerine in a spray bottle. And I'm going to explain why. So the clean water tank's done. It rarely needs cleaned, but the dirty water tank, it gets extremely dirty and smelly. So the first thing I'm going to recommend, every time you empty it, spray. This is just Listerine mouthwash. That's all it needs. That's going to kill the bacteria so that it doesn't cause odor. But once in a while, you are going to have to clean it with the spray soap and a brush. Okay, so the dirty water tank is empty. All right, and let's add the clean water tank. It's full. Now my light tank, I got it plugged in. There's that cord storage really doesn't work in the back. That cord is really thick. And the light is white now. Let's connect it to my iPad. Turn it on. You have to hold this button for just a little bit. Those lights will start blinking, and we're going to scan that with our phone. Now this is going to make a tone, and that is what it's supposed to do. Now we know that it's on. All right, let's go to the Roborock app. You got to log in with a username and password. We're going to click Add a Robot. It's going to want to give it access to your camera, and then you can scan that code. I turned it on. Now I've got to reset the Wi-Fi network. So make sure the robot is already on. I'm going to press and hold these 2 buttons at the same time, and you'll hear something.
Resetting Wi-Fi.
Okay, let up as soon as you hear that. I'm going to click I heard, next. Select your Wi-Fi with this little arrow, and then give it your Wi-Fi password. It only works with 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Okay, so hit this button that says connect to device. You have to join. This is going to transmit a Wi-Fi. That light is blue. And the tablet that you have is going to connect to this. And then hopefully the tablet should go back to your normal Wi-Fi, and then this will be on the Wi-Fi. But sometimes you may have to manually connect to the Wi-Fi being transmitted. All right, looks like it says it's binding.
Connecting to Wi-Fi.
All right.
Stand by.
It says it was successful. Now it's connecting to Wi-Fi. That is flashing blue. Okay, it did say Wi-Fi connected. Now it says successful. Say enter device. Now we can go dock it. Put the lid on. Now docking Qrevos can be a little tricky. You just have to be patient, and it'll say charging. So push it in.
Charging.
Okay, it's docked. If you don't hear that charging, it's not docked. Okay, we have to agree to some privacy, but again, it doesn't take photos. It's going to run through this quick start. These are some important steps. You have carpet. I have carpet, so select it. I have multi-floor, select. And you can always change these later. Do not disturb is on by default. That is super important. These things will start in the middle of the night if they don't finish the job during the day. I'm going to turn mine off, but I recommend you keeping that on. Map saving is important. Keep that on. Okay. Now there's going to be a couple updates. It's the voice pack. Click it, hit update. That takes really quick. But there's going to be you may get another pop-up saying there's a firmware update. Let's go see if we can find that. Click the three little lines up with the dots. Scroll down, firmware updates. And there is an update. There's the current, there's the latest. 2566 is the latest. I turn auto update on, and then I'm gonna click update now. This takes about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, the robot said firmware up to date, took 5 minutes. Hit the back arrow now. Okay, you're gonna wanna do a quick mapping. Let's go through some of the settings first, just to explain some of them, and we'll go through them again. So click the three little dots. There's your history. This is where you're gonna see where it's cleaned. Put this on a schedule. It's super important to put this on a schedule. You can have it clean certain rooms, certain days. You can have it just clean the kitchen one day, clean your bathroom one day. Very, very important, and I highly recommend putting it on schedule. Floor settings, okay. We're gonna edit the surface material later. We wanna do a full cleaning, that way it identifies all the carpet. But let's click the carpet setting. It's on rise. So when this robot goes over carpet, it's gonna lift the mop pads. You could have it ignore, but again, it's not gonna vacuum those carpets at all. So you could have it avoid. Oh no, ignore means it's gonna mop the carpet. I'm sorry, avoid is meaning it's not gonna vacuum the carpets. And you could have it just say cross, but rise seems to be the best. Now this carpet boost, anytime it's on carpet, it's gonna go up to the maximum suction, which is kind of loud. So if you find that annoying, turn that off, and you can have it clean your carpets without being super loud. Deep cleaning carpet, I don't have that on. Now this one here, clean carpet first. This is an important one. I usually turn that on. I'm not gonna turn it on right now, but I usually have that on. It vacuums my house, then it goes and mops and vacuums the floors. That way, it's not dragging that wet mop pad over my carpets. Flex arm, that's the front brush is on. It's gonna extend it in the corner. The mop extend is on by default. Now this one is a super important setting. We wanna turn this on. There's a sensor in the dock. So when the robot's out mopping your floor and capturing that mud, it's gonna come back to the base station and it's gonna wash that mud off or whatever it is. And then there's a sensor built into the dock. As that water's going up into the dirty water tank, if the water's too dirty, it tells the robot, okay, wherever you just came from, it was dirtier than normal, go remop it. That's called a remopping event or a second cleaning. That's off by default. I love that feature. I turn that on. I wish that was on by default, but it's not. Pet area deep cleaning, when you can identify where your pet bed is and stuff, and it can do more cleaning around those. Later on, we're gonna turn cleaning pattern on. I do think it helps when you have it clean in the direction. This is vinyl plank flooring, but it still helps for the robot to mop in the direction of the flooring. And that also helps with streaks, but not on this because you won't see streaks. But let's go back, dock settings, okay. Mop wash frequency, you can have this by room. So every time it goes from one room to the next, it cleans, or you could have it on a time interval. Now keep in mind, if you get it down to 10, it's gonna use a lot of water. But that by room may be nice if you don't want the bathroom water to be in the kitchen, you know. Dustbin frequency, I like to put that on high. Balanced is fine, but I want it to empty that dustbin a lot and with maximum power. Empty mode, again, I turn that to max. It's maybe a little bit louder, but I want that dustbin emptied a lot and really good. Drying method. This is a really nice feature. You can have it to where it only dries the mop pad when you manually tell it to dry, which I don't recommend, you'll forget. Auto drying is the default. As soon as it's done cleaning your house, it's gonna wash the mop pads, it automatically starts drying them. This is new, this is scheduled drying. So say this robot is where your office is or something, and it comes back, you don't want it to start drying like 3 o'clock every day. You could have it start drying that mop pad like a certain time every day. So say when you're in bed, you could have it dry the mop pad. That's a nice feature. But the blower motor is not super loud anyway. Duration, I turn this to 2 hours. That's how long that hot air is gonna stay. And then this is the self-cleaning. Once in a while, you're gonna have to self-clean that tray. It'll put water down there and clean it. All right, reactive obstacle avoidance. That is on by default, less collision. Now you're gonna have to play around with this. It's on balanced. I don't recommend putting it on none, but you may wanna go to sensitive, but if you find that it's missing areas, and not getting super close to stuff, you may want to go back to balanced. But if you find that it's running over too many cords and getting stuck, you may want to go to sensitive. So play around with that one. You can always change all of these later on. Maintenance. This is where it's going to tell you how to do all the maintenance, but there's one here that's a little misleading. The filter. This is going to be the most critical one. That filter, it says it has 150 hours. That's true when you need to replace it, but it will clog after a couple weeks. So every couple weeks, you're going to be cleaning that filter. I suggest buying a new one, having one ready to go, and you just swap it out. The main brush, you get a lot of time. The side brush sensors. Mop is replaced as needed, and same with the dust bag. It's not going to tell you when it's time to replace those. The mop pads, you're just going to notice it's not cleaning as well. Usually about every 3 months, 4 months on the mop pads, and about every 2 to 3 months on the bag. Manage the maps. This is where you're going to have multi-floor mapping, and you can go in and adjust that. The voice, that's where you pick the voice. This doesn't have like a Hello Rocky or something where you tell it to wake up. AI Laboratory. Flex arm designed to extend for crevices. So like if it goes next to your ice box, and it can send that mop pad underneath. I saw this turn that on. It can extend it underneath the refrigerator. More options. That's where you put do not disturb on or off. The button lights are on. Child lock is here. Off peak charging if you want. An offline map. I do turn that on. You can change the feet to square meters, but I don't necessarily use that. Pin and go. You can tell it to go somewhere on your map. I'm not sure why, because it doesn't have a remote camera. And you have a remote control. I've never used the remote control. User manuals, it just takes you to a website. Product info and firmware updates and device sharing. Let's go back. If you want to connect this to your smart speakers, it's back here. It's in this first page under profile, smart speakers. And this is amazing. The Siri commands is I just played with it today. It's absolutely amazing. It is so simple. You do it right here. You add. What do you want to do? You want to start cleaning. Okay, which one do you want to start cleaning? It's the new one here. It's the Edge series. You record the phrase. You could say, clean the boat. And if you say that, it'll remember it. And then whenever you say that phrase, it'll tell that robot to go clean whatever you told it to do. So I love that the Siri commands are right here in the app. The other ones are in the other app. You got to go to, that app, the Amazon Smart Speaker app and the Google Home and that. So that is super nice. Let's check the Google Assistant. Yeah, you got to go through the Home app. So let's go back to devices. Let's go back to this one. All right, we're ready to, quick mapping. We want to open doors. It is better if you turn the lights on. Pick stuff up. Put things where they're normally going to be, like that chair's normally there. Don't have stuff laying on the floor, but make sure you open all the doors. This will take about 20 minutes. And it's really cool to watch the map. This map will generate as it's moving, and that's just super cool to me. That's why I love these LiDAR navigation. Now this is going to be considered old, this spinning LiDAR on top. The newer ones have a different type of LiDAR, but it still works really good. Okay, that took exactly 17 minutes. We're back at the app. Hit adjust. Let's edit the rooms. So it did a pretty good job of dividing up the rooms, but I want to divide it a little bit better. Okay, you're going to click the divide button, click the room. You got to move this red thing around. You can expand it. You can pinch and zoom the map, but it has to be a solid line in order to complete the divide. You just have to find, right there. It's not solid yet, so there. Hit the check mark, and it should make that into 2 different colors. Now, if you need to combine rooms, just hit merge and then select the 2 rooms and then hit the check mark, and it'll merge those rooms. Now, having different rooms is important for like when you want to do scheduled cleanings and stuff. All right, you can remove rooms too, but let's rename. So click name, select a room, and you can pick one of these, or you can add a special one. Okay, so once you got everything divided up and where you needed, hit the back arrow. You can add no-go zones now or later, and the robot will kind of help you add no-go zones as it cleans your house. You can add an invisible wall, wherever you put this red line, it won't go past. So if you don't want it to go into that room, you would just shrink that down and put it right there in the doorway. It will not go past that door, that invisible line. No-go zones are what I use the most. I know in this area over here, it's going to get stuck, but you can add these later. Let the robot clean your house for a while. Wherever it's typically getting stuck a lot, just put a little no-go zone. Hit the little check mark. You can put as many of these as you want. Okay, edit furniture. I don't really do this. You can put where your bed is and stuff, and it's going to pick some of this stuff for you as it cleans your house. So later on, I don't do it right now. Edit the surface. You can put where the carpet is and what type of floor. There is a threshold. Looks like we can add a threshold right here. I'm not sure exactly how tall the threshold is. It's probably 0.75 that it can go up. They didn't talk much about that. So anyway, what you're seeing here, it's going to identify where all the carpet is after it cleans your house a couple times. See, that's just where it randomly went, and there's where the carpet is, but I have a bigger piece of carpet there. So later on, I'll edit the surface type. So we're back. The map is pretty well done. Okay. I can always get right to the map right here. Oops. They want you to choose Smart Plan. That's where it figures out how to clean your floors and stuff. So on full, it's going to clean the entire house, and there's where you pick Smart Plan. I could do vacuum and mop. I can pick the different levels. Water flow has 3 quick buttons, but if you click this other button here, you can customize all the way up to 30, which I do recommend. More water is better for mopping. You can do mop only, same, or you can do the quick ones. You can do vacuum, and you can customize each room. Take the time and customize each room, I think is really nice. We can do a room clean, so pick the room. You can customize it. You can do the Smart Plan for a room where it figures out how to clean it. We can do a zone. You can move these zones around. So if say there's a mess here, the dog made a mess right here, add another one. You can say, okay, now the kids made a mess over here, and it'll clean those zones accordingly, whether you pick Smart Plan, mop, or whatever. Routines, I haven't done a whole lot with routines. I need to do these. You can add these. I'll play around with those someday. But I mainly just get these robots up and working for a while. You're going to be going into this app quite a bit once in a while at the beginning. All right, so we've done all of that. Now, this is the first thing I recommend. Do a full. You can do a smart full, that's fine, but I recommend do a vacuum. Probably unbalanced, 1 pass, standard pattern. There's nothing else. And have it clean your entire house, and it will identify where the carpet is. Then you can go in and tell it exactly where the carpet is and tell it exactly what floor direction everything is. And then you can go in and select clean in the floor direction. I think that's super important, but it'll identify all of the carpeted area. Here's another robot that's already cleaned my house. See, that whole room is carpet. So it identified right where it is. These are the rugs it identified. So your house will look like, or it'll show you where all the carpet is when it's done cleaning. Again, this does not take any pictures. Yep, there's the settings button. We went through all the settings. I'm not going to change any right now. I will go back in and change cleaning pattern. But before I do that, I'll edit where the actual, edit the surface. Like I'll put floor tile. Floor tile is right here. I mean, I know right now that it goes that way. So I guess I could do some of the stuff right now. And see there, it installed the floor tile, and it will clean in that direction. And I know this one right here is floor tile. Whoops. Floor tile. And it goes in that vertical direction. So then you could do that now and then go back in. I will do that now, right now. Floor cleaning settings, clean in the pattern, clean along. You could, I've mixed pattern. The robot moves in a direction perpendicular to the last, but cleanups take longer, so I haven't tried that one yet. Okay, let's just do a really quick clean. Let's clean a room. So you can, I'm not gonna put anything down, but let's do Smart Plan. I just want you to see how the robot works in case you're having problems with yours. So the first thing it's going to do is wash the mop pads. You'll hear some pumps kicking on. It's also going to fill the robot up with water. And then you'll hear the mop pads spinning. You'll hear a dirty water pump kick on. It's going to suck that water out into the dirty water tank. That's probably the loudest part. And this process usually takes about 2 minutes. Then it's going to go and clean this area over here. And I want you to see how loud it is and all of that. Okay, the mop's washed. It's going to go and clean this little area over here. It's going to travel to the area with its mop pads raised. Now there's that carpet boost. It is pretty loud when it boosts that carpet suction. So right now the mop pads are raised, but as soon as it gets off carpet, see, it lowers the mop pads. And there's that mop extend. When it's in a corner, it'll extend the side brush, but so you can see it's relatively quiet when it's mopping. There, it's gonna, should have raised the mop pads a little bit there, but you can tune that later. Is able to go under furniture. Now there's some really neat things I love about this app. So say it's cleaning your entire house and this is my office here, and when it comes into my office, I'm on a phone call, I can tell it skip this area and it'll just skip my room and go on to the next one. That's a super nice feature, but there's also another one. I can add an area. So it'll give you a zone. I could say, okay, go clean this area and start the clean. It's gonna stop cleaning that area and go clean that right now. That's a nice, I love this. I love those features. Now, as far as I know, it doesn't have a way of setting what order it cleans your rooms. I really do wish it had that. So here it is returning to the, I just told it to go home. So it's gonna return the dock, wash the mop pads, auto empty the dustbin, and turn on the blower to blow hot air on the mop pads. Here it is towards the end of the cleaning. That's when it's the loudest. And again, I will be comparing this to the X50, the Curve, S5X, and the original Edge. I have the original Edge and I have the original Curve, but they took the cameras out of both of them. And I'll be comparing it to Saros, Slim, that's the S8 Max V, a little bit older one, but there's the brand new X50. Okay, here's the dustbin empty. It's not super loud. And then it's going to turn the blower on to blow hot air.
Self-cleaning completed.
There's the fan. It's not super loud. And in the app, I can control the dock. I can stop the dry. I could do a manual wash, and I could do an auto empty. And to be honest with you, the Qrevo and the Roborock, these two new ones are exactly the same. Other than the looks, the technology seems to be exactly the same on them. So I would get, right now, this Edge S5A is $100 cheaper. Actually, it's about $200 cheaper. No, it's $100 cheaper. It does come in white. I got the black one so I could see the difference between, because I've got the white. The first Edge is white. So then when I do my comparison, I'll be able to see the difference, because I've been having to put these stickers on them. They're starting to make some that look so identical now. So again, I buy these with my own money. If you could, I also use links in the description. If you want to purchase this product, if you click on that link, the product won't cost you anymore. It'll take you to Amazon where you can purchase it. I will end up getting a small commission from that sale. It is a way of helping support my channel. That way I can continue to buy these robots with my own money and give you my honest opinion. These are solid robots. If you're worried about privacy, these are the ones you're going to want. I got to do some testing. We're going to see how the obstacle avoidance is. It's probably not going to be the best, but sometimes that's okay. I did buy a bunch of MOVAs. I got the MOVA M50 or whatever, and the I don't know the numbers, the 10. Looks like some of the two of the best sellers. So that looks like a pretty neat, it's made by Dream, but it's got some money savings associated with it. They are a little cheaper. So I will be testing those. Lots of videos on the Saros 10, 10R. This is my second Dream X50. I had to send my first one back, but the second one seems to be doing a lot better. So, I really do appreciate everybody's support. If you could, please like and subscribe and look for the detailed review and comparisons coming soon. Thanks for watching.